The night it happened didn't feel extraordinary. The sky was calm, the house quiet, and the world, for once, felt settled. I remember standing in front of the mirror, adjusting my dress, smiling at the reflection of a woman who still believed in her marriage. I had spent years trying to be everything he needed, supportive, understanding, forgiving. But that night, I would learn that sometimes the people you fight for are the very ones sharpening the knife behind your back. We were invited to a luxury dinner at one of those rooftop restaurants with gold-rimmed glasses and string lights that looked like stars. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, his promotion, his success, our life together. I paid for most of it, as I always did. That's what love does, right? It gives without keeping score. But love, I learned, is not blind. It's willfully blind, until one night, the truth tears off the mask. He was glowing that evening, wearing the new suit I bought him, a man intoxicated by admiration. But I noticed something, a nervous excitement in his eyes that wasn't for me. He kept glancing at his phone, smiling, almost trembling with anticipation. When I asked, he said it was just work. Funny, how the word work became the graveyard for so many marriages. When we got to the restaurant, the place was already buzzing. His colleagues were there, the ones who called him family. I sat beside him, proud, but the moment the waiter poured the wine, something inside me shifted. I watched him lean closer to a woman across the table, perfectly polished, perfectly comfortable, and I realized she wasn't just a colleague. She was the reason. She laughed at his jokes the way I used to. She touched his arm in that subtle, claiming way women do when they know they already own what another woman still believes is hers. I smiled through it, pretending I didn't see. Pretending I wasn't breaking quietly under the table. Then came the moment I'll never forget. The manager walked in with a cake, a massive, $1,000 masterpiece I had paid for, and the lights dimmed. Everyone clapped. He stood up, raised his glass, and began to speak. "To the woman who's been my inspiration," he said. I felt the warmth rising in my chest, the familiar swell of pride, until he turned, not to me, but to her. "To my work wife," he continued, "the person who's been by my side through every late night, every struggle, every success." The laughter, the cheers, the camera flashes, they all blurred into a static hum. My ears rang, my heart pounded, and for a split second, I thought I'd misheard. But no, I saw her smile, saw his pride, and I saw everyone's knowing eyes flicker between us. In that moment, I didn't just lose my husband. I lost the illusion that I had ever been safe in that marriage. I didn't cry. Not there. Not then. I clapped along with the rest, smiled for the pictures, and finished my glass of wine. But inside, something broke, something that could never be fixed. When we got home, I didn't speak. I waited until he fell asleep, snoring like nothing had happened. I walked to my office, opened my laptop, and pulled out every receipt, every payment, every transfer I'd made in his name. The house? My money. The cars? My loan. His business? Funded by my trust. I had built the empire he flaunted, and now, I would dismantle it brick by brick. I spent that night transferring everything I legally could into my name. I froze the joint accounts. I secured my assets, my business, my future. I called my lawyer at dawn. By sunrise, my plan was already in motion. He woke up to coffee and silence, the calm before his personal storm. When he asked what was wrong, I smiled and said, "You'll find out soon." That day, while he was at work, the truth began to unravel. Our received the documents proving he'd been using company funds for personal expenses, lavish dinners, hotel stays, client meetings, that were actually romantic getaways. I made sure every piece of evidence found its way to the right inbox. I didn't scream or fight. I simply let his actions speak louder than my pain. By evening, his company had suspended him. His work wife stopped answering his calls. His friends, the ones who toasted him the night before, distanced themselves like smoke clearing after a fire. When he walked through the door that night, the arrogance was gone. He looked smaller. Deflated. "What did you do?" he asked, voice shaking. "What you taught me," I replied. "I stopped trusting you, and I started trusting myself." The house that once felt like our dream became his prison. He couldn't touch the accounts. The cars were repossessed. His credit cards frozen. He begged, he shouted, he blamed me, but for the first time, his words had no power. A week later, I filed for divorce. I didn't leave in tears. I left in silence, dignity wrapped around me like armor. I moved into an apartment overlooking the city, the same skyline where I once believed our dreams lived. I started rebuilding, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. I poured my energy into helping other women, women who had been financially abused, emotionally broken, manipulated into believing their worth was tied to their husband's validation. I taught them how to protect themselves, how to build financial freedom, how to recognize emotional abuse disguised as love. I learned the art of leaving, gracefully, powerfully, completely. Months passed, and one afternoon, I received a message. It was from him. Just 4 words. "I lost everything, please." I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because revenge, I realized, doesn't always come with fire and fury. Sometimes, revenge is peace. It's silence. It's walking away with your self-worth intact while they drown in the chaos they created. That night, the one that ended my marriage, didn't destroy me, it revealed me. It showed me that love without respect is a slow kind of death, and that the only way to heal is to reclaim your voice. I'm divorced, yes. But I'm also free, independent, and finally living the life I deserved all along. So when people ask how I managed to survive the betrayal, I tell them the truth. Sometimes the end of a marriage isn't a tragedy. It's the beginning of your revenge story, one written in power, silence, and freedom.